And welcome back, everybody. What you are looking at is the 4-lever tumblers that are being trapped by the cam gate of this Railroad SLAYMAKER padlock. And this is another acquisition that I'd recently received in a locked position, and I use my tumbler trapping technique with a little bit of a twist. Let me zoom out of this really quick if I can. And this is the tumbler trapping tool, if you recall, that I use. And what I do is I measure the position of the riser coming out of the keyway, and I have this little caliber right here, and I find a position and I merely analyze where the riser comes out of the keyway, and I make note of that. And this here is a picture of what I thought the key would look like, and it was pretty spot on. This is a key that I made a couple months ago out of bronze, and this will probably be the key that I'll use for this lock. Talking about these Pennsylvania Railroad padlocks, they were used widely in the 50s, if not the 60s and earlier. They were also marked as Fram. This one is marked 45, so a key would be, a manufacturer key would be marked PO45. Yeah, so I said earlier there's a twist on how I open this lock, and this is the tension tool that I used. This is like a Z-wire, and I applied this roughly at the between the 1 and 2 o'clock position and applied pressure. I decided to use the same technique that I described earlier on my Yale 1245, and in a sense it's kind of like one of these good old-fashioned comb pick, which I find these things absolutely worthless, but anyway, somebody will contradict me. This is the crude key that I made right here. Let's just call it a comb pick for lack of a better word, with very specific elevations. And I didn't know exactly what the orientation of this had to be. It had to be at an angle. It was going to be perfectly parallel to the geometry of the keyway. Well, after playing with it about an hour, I discovered that this is the angle right here. It's somewhat like, yeah, just like that. Maybe a little bit more like this. And this was the angle that I was able to open the lock with. And sometimes we like our tools to work exactly the way we perceive them to initially, but if I wanted to, I can tailor this tool better now that I know where the initial points are on the tumblers relative to the key pin and the rest of the geometry. So this is kind of a nice little method in lieu of using this reusable barrel key. This flag can be unglued by applying a match and super glue a new piece on there. And I thought, maybe that's even still too much work. So I decided to make this little flag and little comb pick. Worked out okay. I'm happy with the result. So like I said earlier, now that this lock is open, I'll use the benefit of reading the lever tumblers from the shackle hole and go and make a key. And hopefully I won't mess it up, because this key took me a long time to make. And by the way, this is what goes inside of this right here. Boom, fits kind of nice. Did a pretty good job on that. Matches the keyway perfectly. Turns out SLAYMAKER did 2 sizes of keyways. This is the wider one. They have some that are a little bit narrower, but I'm pretty happy with the lock. This came from a railroad padlock seller in the United States. The guy refused to sell this lock to me. I had to go through somebody else to get it for me. It wasn't very nice. But I'm happy with it now, and I'll be cutting that key pretty soon. Thank you for watching.